So I was just reading where Peter walks on water to Jesus, and then I jumped somewhere else in the Bible and I saw this really very obvious connection and cross-reference when it comes to doubting and having faith. Basically, Peter asked Jesus if he could come and walk on the water with him, and Jesus is like, yeah, come on. And then he goes off the boat and he walks to Jesus, and they're in the midst of a storm. And then when he saw that the wind was boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched out his hand and caught him, saying, Oh, you of little faith, why did you doubt? And then I jumped over to James 1, and it says, But let him ask in faith with no doubting, for he who doubts is like a wave of the sea driven and tossed by the wind. For let that man not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is double-minded man, unstable in all of his ways. So right here in James 1, it talks about persevering in trials, having faith when you ask for something, and that is exactly what Peter had when he was walking on the water. And right before what I read in James, it says, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. It's crazy how Peter can be looking at Jesus bodily walking on the water, and because of that, he has full faith he can walk on it. But when Jesus calls him to be in that uncomfortable situation, when he asked, he ends up sinking because he started to doubt. And he literally sinks and is driven and tossed by the waves and is double-minded, the double-minded man that James is talking about here. Something I also kind of caught here is when Jesus is walking towards them initially, they get scared and they think it's a ghost. So they start to freak out. Sometimes we freak out, I feel like, about our circumstance when it can really just be Jesus orchestrating the perseverance of our faith. And then he tells us it's him, and we can clearly see that he's working in that situation. So we go, oh, it is Jesus. And then we walk out in faith, and we're walking on that water. And then sometimes we doubt and sink. But at the end of the day, Jesus comes and he stretches his hand out and saves him. And Peter, at the end of the day, grew in the situation and became the foundation of the church. So don't worry, God is with you. Even if your situation may look bad, it could be Jesus orchestrating a better faith for you. And it's only a time to persevere and take joy in, like James tells us to. It's hard, but it's true. God bless you. Jesus loves you.